Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode with Pravina Talks. And today I have a very, I would say, interesting guest. I myself am very excited and curious. Because the topic is something I think very relatable to all of us, which is marriage. Okay, so we all know that marriage is supposed to be something that you dream of for many years. You want it to be beautiful, like a fairy tale, Disney, dreamland, stuff like that. And I myself just got married about 3 months or so.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So it was really interesting and really catchy when I saw your posting in online in social media about how couples with kids, I think 0 to 5 years old, babies to kids, how their marriages can break silently without them realizing it.
Yeah.
And you are a person who fix it. When I heard it, it was like, oh wow, there's a way to it. That's
Yes.
hope.
Yes.
That's how I felt about it. That's hope. And it's so nice when you can detect and highlight and show that period of time is really crucial among couples
Yeah.
or parents.
Yeah.
So the topic for today is how to keep your marriage alive despite having babies. So you can still be happy as a couple and also as a parent.
Yes.
So I would allow Madam Sharanya for you to introduce yourself so that we get to know you more.
Okay. Thank you. Please address me as Sharanya. So basically what I do is I revive marriages that are not alive, right? So that's how I look at it, because marriages are in this very risky position, right? Especially for couples who've just had kids, right? Marriage itself is challenging enough, and then you throw kids in, right? It really brings about all of the negativity that has been there, under the surface. It just comes out because you're thrown with so much of challenges that you don't know how to handle it. So I took it upon myself to do this because I myself experienced how hard it is to, number one, keep the marriage going, how it is to manage when you have a baby. And for myself personally, I was abroad. I'm Malaysian, but I lived in, I still am in Singapore, but we moved to Singapore when my baby was 35 days old. And it was a challenge. That was the first time I actually thought to myself, who did I marry? Because I could not recognize myself or my husband, because of the challenges that we were having, because we didn't know how to manage a baby. We knew how to be husband and wife, but we didn't know how to be husband and wife with a baby.
Okay. It's something different.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like a lot of couples go through this. Every couple, I would say, who's just welcomed a baby would experience this. The first thing that they experience is sleep deprivation.
Okay.
Right? And I love my sleep. So when I experienced sleep deprivation the first month, I was like, oh my God, what did I sign up for? But my husband was able to sleep without an issue. And I was like, okay, so this is not fair already, So it really starts off with, okay, I'm doing more, you are doing less.
Okay.
Or there's an imbalance in the whole dynamic, right? So long story short, there was a lot of unfairness, sleep deprivation, confusion of roles. And then also as a mother, like the obsession to want to do everything at the same time, not letting the father take a role as well. So that is one thing that a lot of mothers go through as well. And then they turn it around and they blame the husband and say, you're not doing anything. But in reality, the mothers themselves are a little more in control and want to be more in control as well. So those were the few issues that were very prominent. And so what happened and what was the first thing that I tackled was the baby sleep. We call it sleep coaching or sleep training, where the child learns how to sleep 12 hours through the night.
Wow, 12 hours. That's nice.
Yes, that's nice. And that is what is needed. And after that, when that happens, right, the child's lifestyle becomes very predictable.
Okay.
So we know when is the child going to wake up, when the child needs to be fed.
Like a routine.
It's a routine. It's a beautiful routine when everything needs to happen. And this not only helps the parent, but it helps the child feel more safe, feel more comfortable in this new world outside the womb, right? So once that takes place, it stabilizes the entire marriage on like an 80% level, right? And imagine having 12 hours of time just for yourself.
Okay.
Right. So for me, I realized that, oh, even though I was alone in Singapore, no social network, no family network, I was still able to thrive in the sense that 3 months postpartum, I actually signed up for my master's program. I master's in counseling. I did it at that point of time. I was questioned many times about it, like, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? You already have enough on your plate. But I needed something else, which is my identity back.
Okay.
This is another thing a lot of mothers experience as well. So the fact that, they have the baby and then they sacrifice and then they just do everything for the child and they lose themselves along the way. So with all of these experiences, I realized that I was able to tackle the marital problems, the marital challenges by doing a few things. The sleep part is one.
Mhm.
Stabilizing my personal mental health was another.
That's very important. I think we all overlook that.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And then that sort of seeps into the marriage and it, vibes through the marriage. It really does help the marriage because the woman, the mother feels more confident. She feels like she belongs to herself again. She recognizes a bit of herself again. She's not just breastfeeding and half naked all the time and,
Doing the household chores.
doing the household chores, doing everything, the mental load, you name it, right? So those are the stabilizing foundations that can help marriages today for parents, new parents who've just had babies. You know what I'm saying? So the reason I started doing this was because I realized that if I could do it all by myself, without a helper, without someone from the outside, then anyone can do it. So that's basically the reason why this started. This was my project. I was like, I've got to get this out. I need to help as many parents as possible because everyone is struggling, thinking that they have to struggle for years and years and years. After having kids, it means it is a sacrifice. Life is a sacrifice. And I don't believe in that. We all get one chance at living life and we should make the best of it. That's what I believe in.
Beautifully said. Thank you so much.
Sorry, it was a bit lengthy.
It's okay. I mean, it's so nice to hear that the whole thing started with your own research, with your own baby, and with your own life. So it's like a proven method that we've done. I think we all have a journey in life which leads us to somewhere, and that led you to where you are today to help so many couples and mothers out there. So when you talk about marriages falling apart, when they have a baby and all that, why do you think they become less connected to each other besides organizing the home, the baby, and things like that? Is it because of lack of emotional connection, or is it pure exhaustion?
The first one would definitely be exhaustion. Like your basic needs are not met, right? So sleep deprivation is the same as, I always say this, holding your pee. Can you imagine if you had to hold your pee and not go to the toilet?
Yeah, that's terrible.
That's tough. That is tough. And we human beings, we think that sleep is not a need, it's a luxury. It's not. It is an essential human need. It's a like, if you don't have sleep, you are completely dysfunctional.
Yes.
Well, I would say it's both a need, a basic human need. And if you get extra of it, we'll categorize it as luxury, but you need those basic 8 to 9 hours. So when you are exhausted, when you just don't have the capacity to meet your basic needs, like just resting and eating and drinking, you are not going to be able to function.
Yes.
So exhaustion is the number one reason, right? The number two reason is the confusion of roles. Like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do, kind of thing. Mothers are like a little bit more natural and they're like, oh, this is what I need to do. Even if they don't know what they're doing, they kind of like, are a bit more instinctive, But then dads sort of are not sure of what to do, how to do, and mothers are very postpartum and they use the dads as punching bags, so it's
You play the blame game.
you play the blame
Yeah.
game, there's just so many factors why like dads decide to take a step back and moms power on
And do everything on them.
and do everything. And that you can already see that there's this imbalance. And that's where you start.
Okay.
So when you've got a new baby in the house, what makes you think it's not going to continue till the child is 15 years old? You know what I'm saying? So the foundation needs to be fixed ASAP. The minute the baby comes home, this is what we are going to do.
Okay.
As a dad, you do this. As a mom, I do this. In our household, we do this. In our marriage, we do this. Whether it's a date, whether it's connection, whatever it may be, right? We have to have that foundation settled from the beginning. A lot of parents say, oh no, it's okay. We will do it later at a later point in time when the child is 6 years old, when the child is 10 years old, right? That's 10 years of your marriage gone.
Yeah.
If you don't prioritize your marriage. Marriage with kids is not a sacrifice. You should not look at your marriage as a sacrifice just because you've got kids. Because you have kids, you have to prioritize your marriage. Does that make sense?
Yes, definitely. Yeah. I think you need more connection so that both of you are happier as individual and as couple. Then only you can be a good and happy parent for your kid.
Yep. Nailed it.
If you're not happy individually, you are sulking, you're emotionally, like you say, your own cup is empty, then how can you fill, your kid's cup? And they don't have a good environment to grow up.
And the example, like you are their first influences,
what they see.
Yeah. And they will imitate you and they will want to have the same things that you practice. And this all goes back into building your child's nervous systems, So when you allow certain things to be normal, like, oh, mom and dad don't talk to each other, or they never sit at the table and eat together, or they always hug when they come home. This is what will become their normal. This is what will be built into their nervous systems. And then when they grow up, this is what they'll be looking for, either similar things that they loved seeing in their households, or they would think that, okay, this happened in my house and I don't want this to happen in my life when I'm older. So it's
but
always.
Then they still do carry, all that trauma that they don't want it, but subconsciously it's already in them because they grew up looking at that.
Exactly.
Like unhappy families for years and
years. Yes. And that will be the inbuilt fear. And that's why a lot of relationships have trust issues.
Okay.
And when I say trust, I'm not talking about infidelity. I'm talking about, can I trust you with my secrets? Can I trust you with my body? Can I trust you with the things that I tell you? Are you going to be listening to me? Can I trust you to hear me out? Those kind of things. Those are the big trust issues that happen, because like if a child grew up without the father or mom, listening to them and empathizing and understanding their situation, they will just grow up with that mindset that I will never be heard. So that's just an example.
Okay. That's a very clear example on like why is it so important to have a happy marriage with the kids. How about, since you can fix marriages and you're good at it, what can you give, like maybe one small daily habits that couples can do that can fix their marriages?
Well, I always say spend quality time. Right? Everyone comes to me and says, oh, we don't have time. I'm working. This is what I always hear them say, I'm working. I've got this project happening, blah, blah, blah. But you're investing so much time in your work. Imagine if you invested a little bit of time in your relationship, how far will that go? Right? So what do I mean by investing in your relationship, and what is quality time? All you need to do, like, you can start off really simple, right? Just make sure you spend 5 to 15 minutes a day without any interruptions with your spouse.
Okay.
And you could have a conversation about anything, right? It could be about your day. It could be about a dream. It could be anything ridiculous. You just want to spend that 15 minutes of fantasy time with your spouse, right? And you want to have some kind of physical connection. Like you want to face each other, you want to hold hands, you want to embrace each other and have meaningful conversations. And also actively listen. Active listening is like the secret to all relationships, whether it's with mother and child, father and child, vice versa, husband and wife, any relationship. You if you just if you're just talking and I don't know that you know what I'm talking about, you just move on to the next topic. I don't feel heard. I don't feel seen. I don't feel understood. The couple needs to know, like the husband and wife need to know that, hey, she actually heard me and she understands me. So the active listening part would be important to integrate into the quality time that you spend on a daily basis. I would say start off with that. Yeah.
It makes so much of sense. Like you can spend so much time at work, but not, um, with your partner. 5 to 15 minutes. It's so little,
Yeah.
but we don't. I
It's
think
so
the
powerful.
prioritization.
Yes.
We are so used to, running after work, chasing after work, and it takes so much of space in our daily lives that we sometimes, do not pay much attention to the rest part of our lives that's also equally important.
Yeah, but you know what, Pravina? It's actually the most important part. The most important is your marriage. If you're married, that's the most important thing. That is the top of your priority list. Everything else should wait. You know what I'm saying? Like, of course, your mental health is always number one, but when you're married, everything else needs to stop. If something's not right in the marriage,
Okay.
right? You can have a high five job and think your work is your priority, but always remember work is replaceable. Like you've chosen this life partner of yours, and if you're not investing as much energy and time as much as you did when you were dating, then the results will show.
Yeah, and it's not fair to the other person.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because they invested in you, they loved you, with all of their heart. So
Yes.
it should be an equal thing. Then it would be something very beautiful, right? That's all we all want. So that's why we brought you in my channel today, because I feel that, pointing to my next question to you, listening to you and watching all your videos, I've come to know that marriage also requires set of skills. We all overlook this,
Yeah.
or sometimes we think it's an automated thing.
Oh,
You
yeah.
just get married, okay, you have a beautiful function with
Yes. Everyone focuses on the wedding.
and you're so excited about your costume, your makeup, your car,
And you spend loads of money
Yeah.
on the makeup.
Yes.
That's the outfits which you're gonna, use for like 3 hours or 4 hours. I mean, I understand it's your big day. Do it. But if you can spend that much money on your wedding day, you must be open enough to spend that much money on your mental health.
Yes, exactly.
And your marriage. If it requires that you see someone to support you, you've got to do it, because it is like investing in your, wedding costume, or, whatever. It is very important.
Yes, yes, yes.
You get one chance at this.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
You know?
We want the wedding, and everything to look beautiful. We also want the inner life of a marriage to be beautiful as well. But I think maybe that's why we brought you here to tell us the severity of it, the intensity of it, like how a relationship is something complex. It's not an automated thing. Like the moment you finish the ceremony, and then you think automatically it will be happily ever after. It's not like that.
That's when it begins.
Yeah.
That's when the shit hits the fan.
Yeah. And also, it's not something depressive or something scary, as portrayed by, certain images or, in media. It's not in both extremes. I think what I liked about what you were sharing is it's something beautiful if you make it beautiful. It's all in your hands.
Yeah.
Right? So moving on from this, so what are the skill sets needed? Like when you go to a job, you need certain skill sets. You are trained from school.
Yeah.
You need your communication, your computer, skills and all that. So likewise, marriage is a journey of like years and years of journey. So you need
entire life
yeah.
till you drop dead.
Yeah, so you definitely need skills, but at the same time, we are not trying to say that you need to fake it. No, not like that. But
Yes,
that
have to be
how
natural.
but you learn the skills, like how do you handle your conflict with your partner? Like you said, how do you prioritize personal time and things like that? So can you explain further on this?
Yeah. So, I mean, Pravina, there's so much that you can do. Marriages are very complicated. We can work on many different dynamics when it comes to marriages. But one of the basics, right? One of the basics would be for you to have that sense of acceptance, right? Putting aside skills, the first thing that you need to come to terms with is the fact that this is your life partner and you have accepted them as they are wholeheartedly. What happens in marriages most of the time is along the way they drop that acceptance. It just drops off as they go along, as they're going on this journey. They take acceptance and throw it out the window. They don't seem to accept their partners fully. So that's one of the foundational things that a relationship needs. Skill set wise, like I mentioned earlier, active listening is something important. I'll give you an example. Like, you're my husband and I'm me. And I'm telling you, Pravina, I really feel like having a burger today. I've been craving this for the last 5 hours and I really, really want to eat it. How would you respond to me? How would you naturally want to respond to me?
Mm, I would like, listen to you and then maybe get you the burger so that you feel, happy. Yeah.
Mhm. So when you get me the burger, I'll be like, oh my gosh, she actually heard me. You actually heard me, and I got the burger, right? But what would also make me feel seen and heard is when you do active listening.
Okay.
Like, I'll give you an example. So when you say, okay, I really feel like having a burger, I've been craving for it for 5 hours, da 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 da. All I would do is rephrase and ask you back, like, oh, so you really feel like having a burger and you've been craving for it like for like the last 5 hours. How come you're craving it? What made you crave for it suddenly? So you're curious about it. You're interested.
Enthusiastic. Yeah.
Enthusiastic and interested, genuinely interested. Okay. What burger do you want to eat? You want McD burger or KFC or Burger Ramly? Like, what exactly do you want to have? And so
Being involved.
So like, as I respond to you, how are you feeling? Like, just listening to me tell you this.
I really feel hurt. Yeah, okay. Yeah. And I'm happy to have conversation with you.
Exactly.
Yeah. Like when you meet an old friend and then you have like so much to talk to, like you're excited to have a conversation.
Yes. And in marriages, what happens is, oh, okay, you want burger? Okay, I'll go and buy. It's either that or they don't even hear it.
Yeah.
They don't even hear it.
That's the sad part.
So I always tell my clients, I'm like, whatever you guys are talking about, even if your wife says, no, there's no more diapers, I need diapers. The baby's been crying all day, I need diapers. Okay, so what do you hear? What are you actually hearing your wife tell you? So you got to rephrase and understand it in your own words. So, oh, you told me the baby's been crying all day. That must have been so frustrating. That must have been so hard for you. I'm so sorry you had to go through that all by yourself and I was at work. And then you mentioned there's no more diapers. Okay. Do you want me to order it? Or, is it something that's already been done? Or I can go and grab it now. So it depends on the foundations that you guys have set. Like, there's a couple has set, like if it's the dad who's on duty to buy diapers, then the father doesn't even have to have that conversation with her. It's understood that he's going to get it. So he just needs to rephrase and say, I know that you've had an exhausting day. I'm going to go out and get those diapers. Could I get you anything else to make you feel better? I know you had such a hard day. I want to help. That itself,
it's so simple, right?
It's such a simple thing. It's just using your ears, God-given ears.
The moment when you hear something like that, you really feel so touched, right?
Yeah.
And the love increases.
Exactly.
You don't lose anything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And
That's the moment I think that builds up the love.
exactly. And it's not about like the big fancy dates and the cruises and the trip to
Expensive
Paris
holidays,
and all that.
Yeah.
All that, yes, plays a part. Okay. But you can't go to Paris every day, right? The foundations you build are foundations that you build on a daily basis, every single day without skipping a day, every day when you connect. So active listening is one of the biggest and most useful skills that you would have in a marriage that will be helpful. Number 2 would be how you close the loop after a fight.
Aha. Okay.
So a lot of couples, when they fight and argue, they don't know how to argue clean. So, and they go out of topic and they bring back
All the past victories.
things that happened in the last 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 3 years
It will
ago.
count down.
Let's bring it all back because you put the spoon in the sink and you didn't wash the spoon, right? So how do you fight clean? How do you focus on just that one thing? So you've got to be very aware of what you're doing. Okay. You've already seen that your partner is, really tensed and not feeling so good. And so instead of saying, but you are the one who da 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 da, instead of pointing fingers, wear the listener's hat.
Okay. Active listening.
Again, listening, right? You wear the listener's hat and allow the angry spouse or the upset spouse to speak.
Okay.
Without any interruption, without saying you, but. None of that, right? So you openly listen without judgment, even if your partner is complaining about you, right? You are listening.
Criticism.
Accept it full-heartedly, understand that, oh, okay, I didn't even realize that I did that. So your defense is dropped already. The minute you wear your listener's hat, you drop your defense, you drop the I have to be
immediate reaction.
I have to protect myself. You're no longer in that protect myself mode. You're in like, okay, we have a crisis. I'm going to sit down and see how we can work through this. So you listen and then you active listen, right? You rephrase, you throw things back, understand. Did I understand you properly? You ask that question, yes, because you've already rephrased all this. And then you talk about how you want to move forward, right? What is it that I can do to make us close the loop? When I say close the loop, I mean come full circle so that you're not leaving anything hanging. Okay. So just say the partner says, I wish that you would do this. And if you did this, I would feel better. I would feel like I can trust you. I would feel supported. And then the listener says, all right, I can definitely do that. Not I will try. Whenever you use the word try, you're setting yourself up for failure.
Okay.
So I always say, never ever use the word try. Say, I will. And that also does something to your rewiring in your brain when you word it that way. When you say, I will, right?
Means you're committed to it.
You are committed to it, And so once you are committed to it, you will also change the way you behave.
Okay.
And when you do that, it's a much smoother path to closing the loop, right? So anytime the couple has an argument, instead of spiraling down that vicious cycle that they get stuck in, it's always important to say, hold up, I think this is going to spiral. Let's call for a meeting.
So it's like you need to be conscious about it.
Yes. So you're aware, you're fully aware. At the beginning, it will be very exhausting for both the couple because it's going to be like, oh my gosh, like I have to be so aware about what I'm doing. But at the beginning, it's going to be a bit tough. But as you go along, it'll become as automatic as brushing your teeth, because when you talk about brushing your teeth, you've been doing it for your entire life, basically, right? You start as a toddler, so you've had so many years of practice. You don't have to tell yourself, okay, now I have to brush the back of my teeth or the front or do the flossing or whatever. You don't have to do any of that.
You've trained yourself.
You've already trained yourself, and you've given yourself many, many, many years to get to this autopilot mode. So couples need to also understand that if they're working on their relationship, that's excellent, number one. But at the same time, they have to give themselves the time but also make sure that they are committed to what they are promising themselves. Make sense?
Yes, definitely. Makes lots of sense. Yeah, I do understand like how crucial it is to really actively listen, and also, like you said, to close the loop so that it will become autopilot. And
Yes.
then it's much easier.
Yes.
It's like later on over the years, you cruise
Yes.
on your marriage smoothly, rather
Yes.
than bringing up all the histories
Yes.
of mistakes.
Yeah,
Because
you
it's not
focus
going
on
to
one
solve
problem.
anything. Yeah.
One problem, one solution. That's
Mhm.
it. That's all you focus on.
Yes. And I think it resolves when you sit and have honest, communication
Yes.
with your partner.
Yeah.
It resolves that.
Yes.
And then it will not add up to the history.
Yeah. As long as the partner follows through what they said they would do, then it will really close the loop really nice and tight.
Okay.
But if the partner says, I will cut the grass this weekend, and they don't, then that will become another trust issue.
Okay.
So that's why I'm saying it has to be tightly done. And when you commit yourself to such things, you got to keep to it. If you don't keep to it, it's just going to be another vicious cycle.
Okay.
It will be one of the things that they bring back into the the added up fight that's taking place. We have to also understand that arguments are normal and healthy.
I love the word healthy argument.
Yes, it's normal because two human beings, even if you were to compare yourself with your sibling, you come from the same family, but you are both two different human beings. What more another person from another family, another style of upbringing, nervous system construction, all of that, So I always say that couples are actually the 8-year-old versions of themselves living together, because they're little. I mean, like, you might be, a fully grown adult, but your nervous system functions from your childhood.
Yeah.
And the things that come up in your marriage, oftentimes, or majority of the times, is because of what you were trained to understand as normal, what you were told to accept as okay, this is safe, So I always say that, when couples have arguments, imagine yourselves as your 8-year-old versions, your little kid, trying to just win a conversation. So when you have
that points.
when you have that mindset, you'll look at your partner differently. You'll say, oh, this poor boy or this guy grew up, being told that this is normal, and therefore he's doing this in our household.
You'll be more empathetic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. You will feel for your partner more, because you're not looking at your partner as this person who's responsible for your happiness. Your partner is never responsible for your happiness. You are responsible for your happiness. But both of you are responsible for the marriage, for the happiness of the marriage. Like, anniversaries, right? A lot of women expect the husbands to do the job, take them out on a date, buy them flowers and blah, blah, blah. But the wives don't do the same. I mean, I'm not talking about everyone, but it generally has happened before. Or Valentine's Day or whatever, right? Why is it that it's the husband's job to do this for the wives? A marriage takes two. It takes two to tango.
Yeah.
It's always about giving and taking at the same time. And it's never like 50-50. One day you might be 100%, your partner might be a 0, but you're a team. And that's ultimately what matters the most, that you're able to balance that out and not count and say, oh, I did so much today and you didn't do nothing. What's the point? You decided that you're coming together, you're the team. That's how you make up for it. So it's never 50-50.
It's very nice to hear that, like you don't keep scores. If you don't keep scores, then that's not love. That's not a beautiful, healthy partnership, right?
If you keep scores, yeah.
If you keep one, it's not a beautiful. You will not get a beautiful family at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So I think, but also boundaries plays. Like you said, sometimes if you sacrifice too much, you also feel burned out.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, that's how I think that's where when you say you should sit and have like open communication between both of them, and then that's where they can resolve things and like practice consciously how and what they should do as a couple.
Yeah.
And there's this also concept that I think it's very common nowadays, that couples live as roommates rather than husband and wife or partners. So what will you tell these couples?
Well, I would ask them why they got married in the first place. If you want to live as roommates, right? But normally the reason they get to the roommate stage is because of something that has happened in the past in their marriage that has not been resolved. So as long as both husband and wife want to work on their marriage, they can work on it, and they can get themselves out of the roommate stage, because being in the roommate stage is not healthy, right? Intimacy in a couple is very, very important. And it's not just like, I'm not talking about just sexual intimacy, I'm talking about all kinds of intimacy. Like when you sit together and watch an entire movie and talk about it later on, that's something you're sharing together. That's intimate as well. Cooking together, holding hands while you're out and about, sitting down in silence and going for a massage or something like that. All of that is intimacy. So there's so many forms of intimacy, and the couple also need to learn how to possibly explore love languages and understand that, hey, you like to be loved in this way, and I thought that what I was doing was what you liked, but what I've been doing all this while is what I liked. So
I thought you would also like.
Yes, I thought you would like, to do the same thing, but it's not always the case. So love languages is another big reason why couples get into this whole roommate phase. Like, I've been trying to tell him, or he would say, I've been trying to tell her all this while, but you just don't want to make an effort to love your partner the way they want to be loved. I mean, you can't nail all of them maybe, but at least make an effort to do one. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to make an effort. Make an effort. If you stop making an effort for each other, you will eventually get to the roommate phase, and then there's no way out of it, because you just lack that effort, and you don't want to. Eventually it will lead them to exiting.
Yeah, and I think like you said, it's commitment and effort. That's a very strong word actually that we sometimes take for granted. When you say I do happily, you say that you're committed. In good situations, in bad situations, but then like you say, it slowly fades off. That's why we need skills, like you said, and also we need people like you, because we do not know everything. We have to admit that not all of us can handle everything. Okay, I might be a teacher, I might be good at teaching. You're a counselor, you're good at, and you're specialized in marriage counseling and things like this. So you are good at that. Or a coach who fixes marriages with babies and all. So we need to admit that we do not know everything. We need help.
Yes.
So and sometimes it's not help. Like even before you getting married, you can also when as a couple you can also come to you and know things that, okay, we are preparing towards a baby. What can we do? And then learn the skill sets.
Yes.
And then that makes your marriage much more happier.
Yeah.
So I think we also need to let go of the ego.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that we think, I know, what's so big deal about getting married? And then I'll have a baby. I'll go to work. I'll send the baby to babysitter. It's a process.
Yes.
Not, why do I need to go to a coach like you or a counselor? So I think we need to let go of that ego, and if we think we are facing certain issues, we should find the help that's needed.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you, Pravina, because like we have this stigma attached to help seeking. But we don't think twice when we want to call a contractor to come and renovate our house, or our car is broken down and to go to the mechanic, or when you're sick to go to the doctor. You don't hesitate, because those are the norms that we were taught. We never saw our parents go to counseling for their marriages. They just spoke to the neighbors and gossiped, and then whatever. And it's a different mindset altogether. We're living in a different world now. A lot of families are living individual lives as well. They don't really have a community, a support system, and this is where the experts come in and are able to get the families out of the darkness, if I could say that. And also, like just today, I spoke to one of my clients who we managed to finish 3 weeks of sleep coaching for their baby. The little one is 22 months old and has been sleeping with the mother for the last all of his life. And he's got an older sister as well, 4 years old. All four of them are in the same bed. And, I mean, there's beauty to that as well. But this mom was burnt out and she was really struggling. And at first, the husband was like, oh, you know what? Why do we have to do this? Like, we don't need this. We can manage. Manage. That's what a lot of parents and a lot of couples tell each other. Like, we'll manage this. This is just a season. This is a phase of life.
Our parents managed it.
Yes.
They didn't go for counseling.
Yeah. They don't need they didn't need external help. And then the older generation is also that. This is so you need help. Like, why do you need someone to, do this for you? Like, can't you just use your brains and figure this out? And she told me over the call today, and she said, my husband's so amazed and so proud of the son. He started sleeping through the night within 3 nights. Within actually the second night, he was already sleeping in his own cot, right? And they've been trying and trying and trying for 22 months and nothing has worked. And 2 days with me, and voila, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about me here. What I'm trying to say is that you have methodology. We have a methodology to get these things done. And it's all specific to the family. What are their requests? What do they want from the child? What are their marital goals? What are their parenting goals, And I would integrate all of that into the system that I introduced to them. And I'm fully supportive of all of them. So for me, the highlight was the husband who was so hesitant and not happy with the decision at the start is now like, oh my God, I have the bed to myself now.
Yeah.
With my wife, I can actually be a husband and wife again after 5 years of marriage. And imagine if they did this right at the start.
And I think another thing that I would like to add to what you say, this will make them less burdened.
Of course.
Like, you won't feel the kid is a burden to you or to your marriage. You can still be happy with your husband and also, be happy, raising a kid. So it's you won't look at the kid as a burden. Yeah, so I think that's also something that we need to address.
Yeah.
So that, because it looks beautiful when the kids arrive, but after some time we see a lot of mothers become grumpy, and then that's where the marriages start to fail.
Yeah.
And the husbands doesn't. I wouldn't say they didn't know, but maybe they lack the skills that's needed.
Yeah.
With all the physical changes and the pain and whatever the mom goes through.
Yeah.
And things like that.
I mean, dads would never know what it's like to be moms, but like I mentioned earlier, moms also have that mindset that the dads don't know what they're doing. So it's about both of them taking that accountability, like the mothers learning how to let go and letting the dads do it their way without that perfection mindset. That balance needs to start at the very beginning. Otherwise, it's just going to become their lifestyle and like, this is how we do it in our household, that kind of thing, which we don't want,
True. I agree. And Sharanya, what's one way parents can strengthen their marriage without needing babysitters or extra finance?
Strengthen their marriage, just simple, just prioritize each other.
Okay.
Like your lovers, come back home or hug your spouse, like, they are your lover, not your wife who you have to see, or husband that you have to see. Oh my God, I must see his face again, or that kind of thing. That priority is important. Right now in marriages, the marriage is not the priority. That's why I see people. That's why I see clients. That's why I see couples, because every couple has not prioritized their marriage. Like I mentioned, if you just spend 5 to 10 to 15 minutes a day quality time without forever scrolling your phones or having the child there interrupt their conversation. Like if your child is sleeping at 7 p.m., you're going to have like a good 3 hours of uninterrupted time.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, you're tired. You've just come back from work. You have chores to do, da, 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 da. But all I'm asking for you to do is spend 5 to 15 minutes with your spouse on a daily basis.
To reconnect.
Never, ever miss a day.
Okay.
Never miss a day. Even if you're so exhausted, make it 2 minutes or 3 minutes and just connect. And that itself will shift the dynamic of the marriage.
Very nicely said, Sharanya. And let's talk about myths, So what are some myths about intimacy after kids, the myths about intimacy after kids that you wish people should let go of?
Well, I can think of quite a number, but the one that strikes me the most when I work with couples is the fact that they think that, okay, now we are parents. Life is about the children only and only the children.
Okay.
That's one thing, right? Because their mindset is very skewed to the children, which is not healthy for their personal well-being, their personal mental health, and for the couple health as well, the couple's health as well. When you keep thinking that life is all about the kids, all about the kids, all about the kids, you're never going to think about yourself. You're never going to even think of enjoying, parenting or being a couple, because your mind is only thinking of one thing. But if your mind thinks about yourself and your spouse, you don't even have to think about the kids because it'll automatically happen.
Yes.
So that has to change. People, newly married couples and couples who've just had children, need to change that mindset that, we have to sacrifice our life in order to be good parents. It's not about sacrifice. It's about fulfilling your life and becoming the inspiration and that influencer for your child, because then it becomes automated. It seeps into their nervous system and it normalizes everything. So don't think of marriage with kids as a sacrifice. That's one of the things I would say.
So it's not a sacrifice, but I think it's a lovely journey if you do it well.
Yes.
It's a blessing to be a parent.
It is.
It's a blessing to be married,
Mm.
to have a life partner,
Yes.
partner in crime, to share all your ups and downs, your happy moments, your sad moments, to have a shoulder to cry on when you have, tough times in life, when you're sick and things like that.
Yeah.
So I think we should feel that gratitude and try to work things so that we have a happy family and a happy relationship. We are going to sum up soon, Saranya. So, for someone listening to this podcast, and let's say they are feeling really hopeless about their marriage, it's really crashing down. So, what would you tell them?
Well, I would first say, think about the dynamic of your marriage and see whether there's a possibility that your spouse is also still interested in keeping the marriage, right? That's the first question you want to look at and think about. And if that is the answer, like your partner is willing to work on the marriage, then the first thing I would ask them to do is to seek help. Okay. Alternatively, if the partner is out, right? I come across a lot of cases where the partner is abusive, either emotionally, mentally, or physically. Then they have to be very aware of what their situation is, and they need to make a conscious decision of what they want to do. And obviously, if there is abuse in the marriage, they have to keep themselves safe and they have to leave. So a lot of women struggle in this vicious cycle, especially Asians, where we're like, oh, what will the neighbors say? What will my parents say? What will my in-laws say? Oh, you're such a modern woman, and that's why you think you can separate. And I'm not advocating divorce. What I'm advocating is mental health. And if you are not in a safe place, if you don't feel okay in your relationship because there is abuse or there's neglect, then you need to take action, right? However, if you feel like there's even 1 ounce of hope that your partner is willing to work on it, go seek help. Go seek help, because you can't fix it on your own. You need someone from the outside, a third person, to come inside and view what is going on and teach you how to overcome that. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Sharanya. Thanks a lot. And for all our viewers today, what I would like to say is, if your marriage is suffering, or if it's not suffering, but maybe there's cracks here and there, maybe caused by the baby, or if not by the baby, even something else, you are not alone. So we have Sharanya here to help you. You can reach out to her. So how can viewers contact you? You can share your contacts, like where can they reach out, or get to text you or DM you.
Yeah. So I've got an Instagram page. It's Sharanya V .revive thrive, because I revive marriages and get them to thrive. So it's Sharanya V .revive and revive thrive. Or you could visit sharanyav.com, SHARANYA V.com, and all the details are there.
And you're also on TikTok.
Yeah, I recently started TikTok.
Actually, that's where I saw you for the first time.
Right.
And I think the post that really caught me was, you said, if you only talk about to-do list with your partner, then it's not a marriage.
Yes.
Why did you say that, actually?
Oh, because it's very common. Like marriages are with kids. It's all about, okay, the kid has this class, that class, no diapers, what to cook, where to go for holiday, what enrichment to go for, blah, blah, blah. But it's never about, hey, where to go for a date, huh? Or when can we call the nanny over? Or when can we call our mom over to, sort of go out or do whatever we want to,
Have some personal time
just
together.
some personal time together, or even, should we watch a movie together? That kind of thing. So it's the simple and the smallest things that matter so much.
Yeah. So do visit Sharanya's profile in TikTok. She has lots of sharings there. For basics, you can get a glimpse of what she helps with. And then if you need help, do reach out to her. So that I think my intention for the podcast is so that all of us live a happy life. That I think that's our birthright. And that's something that we all should strive for in this life. We have one life. Let's make it beautiful. And we are not alone. If we seek help, there are genuine people out there like Sharanya who's willing to go all their hearts out to really help you. So, but you have to take the first step.
Correct.
You have to go and reach out and know that you are in need and help. And help is not wrong.
Yeah.
Like you said, do not feel that stigma around it. Help is not wrong. We all need help.
Absolutely.
So do not be that hyper independent person and burn yourself out. Yeah, so that's all for today. And thank you so much, Sharanya. It was a pleasure having you. And I really feel this is a very important podcast that would really bring back hope in many marriages, so that their marriages stay alive while raising a baby. So everything becomes beautiful in a happy family.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
so
you.
thank you.
Sabina. Thank you.